This is the Tigers Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Detroit Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome one, welcome all. Let's get this thing going. Tigers lose to the Kansas City Royals. Tough one late. Witt Jr. 2-run homer to make it 3-1, and the Royals win by that exact same score. Welcome into a live Locked On Tigers postcast on a Saturday night. I am your host, Jake Rietma. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake_Rietma, and we have an even series. We'll break this one down. Some costly base running mistakes from the Detroit Tigers, things you just can't have in a competitive game. And oh, by the way, as I mentioned, Witt Jr. is that guy, and we've got a rubber match set up for tomorrow. As always, your comments are welcome on a live Locked On Tigers postcast. Fire up that comment section. I've already seen a couple come in. We've got a lot to say about this Detroit Tigers team, and one that felt like it got away, if you will, the one that got away. But it's a Locked On Tigers postcast. It's your post-game destination, wherever you get your podcast, and of course, free and available and on YouTube. Make sure you like today's video and go ahead and subscribe to the Locked On Tigers page for all of the updates, including the daily show with Scott Bentley. We begin where we always do. Our biggest talking point, our biggest takeaway from this one, and I hate to be negative. I really do, especially after last night. You're feeling good. You win the first game of the series. And even tonight, there was a lot of good stuff that you saw, and you thought, all right, this is a game that the Tigers can kind of outlast Kansas City and earn that second win. I know the bullpen was taxed yesterday, and there was it felt like the Royals were going to be the team that, were just on the verge and so on and so forth. But again, that costly base running mistake, and obviously that's going to double as our turning point. So let's get into it. It's our biggest talking point.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Wenzel, I want to start out by saying Wenzel Perez does so many good things for this Tigers team. He brings so much value night in and night out to this lineup. But if you've been following this team, and even recently, as recent as this week in Sacramento, there was the base running blunder, and you just can't have the base running mistake that you had from Wenzel Perez late in that game on third, and just the inability to read the ball and really cost the Tigers a run. And it's elementary stuff where you just don't expect to see it at the major league level. And that's what's so disappointing about the base running mishap. And when the margin of error is so slim and every little bit is going to impact the outcome of this game, things like that are magnified. And that's just the reality of the situation. So in a game where, runs were at a premium, other than the Gleyber Torres RBI single in the third, and then the homer for Garcia for the Royals in the fourth, it's a stalemate. It's two divisional foes going at it, and a stalemate is the best way to put it. And so it was going to be the team that made the first mistake, and that's what you saw here tonight. And on those same lines, right after, how many times we see it, the mistake made by Wenzel Perez, and then the Royals make them pay in that eighth inning. And you go through that eighth inning, which we'll talk more as well in the turning point of this one, but you get the first out in the bottom of the eighth, and the walk to Tolbert, who's a guy that has more games played than career at bats, which is just kind of crazy to say out loud. Like, he's literally on that team to be a pinch runner. And credit to the Royals, they pressed the right buttons and made the right adjustments and so on and so forth. But Tolbert pinch hitting in that situation gets on, and I know it wasn't to extend the inning, but at the same time, it was it was traffic on the bases for Witt Jr. And Witt Jr., as I've said time and time again, one of the budding superstars in Major League Baseball, and not even budding. I mean, he's arrived. He's a superstar. And unfortunately for Tyler Holton, he sat on that pitch and sent it to center field, 427 feet, and no doubt about her. And that's your ball game. And again, I go back to that margin of error comparison. It's just so small when you have two teams on any given night that are that evenly matched. So let's go ahead and get into the comments. As always, your comments are welcomed on a live Locked On Tigers postcast. And we begin with Kevin Jeffrey. Tyler Holton and Wenzel Perez should be Toledo bound. I mean, I love the passion. I do. But let's pump the brakes a little bit, because we're not sending Wenzel Perez to Toledo for back-to-back base running mistakes. I mean, I'm sorry to be the one that breaks the news there. Rich P said, survived Canely with Holton. You were just waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it did. Offense blew a couple of big opportunities. Perez base running. Yikes. Let's hope Skubal can win the series. Rich P, thank you. I mean, my entire show could be summarized in Rich P's comment there, because that's exactly how I felt. You get through again. Canely, in recent time, I guess give him some credit. His last couple of appearances has been pretty good. And, you get, like, exactly as this comment alludes to, you get through Canely and you're thinking, oh boy, is that going to happen? And sure enough, it does. And with Bobby Witt Jr. up to bat and how Holton's been, it just, it felt like you're just waiting for the worst thing to happen, and it did. Demetrius McNeil is up next. He says, Jake, a great opportunity to get the lead, couldn't do it, and get burned by Bobby Witt Jr., and no walks, come back next game. Yeah, it was a game where the offense disappeared a little bit, and by a little bit, I mean a lot. If you look at the box score, Kolek was 6 innings, just the 1 earned run, and then that bullpen doing the rest. And that used to be the calling card for those really good Royals teams in, the 2015-16, that era, when I got to double check. They won a World Series one of those years, but they would shrink the game, and the bullpen was so good. And you saw that tonight from the Kansas City Royals. Brittany Shea, what was Perez doing? I don't know. If anybody knows in the comments, please let me know. Braylon Dennis says, I blame Wenzel for his idiotic base running. Would have scored in the 6th if it wasn't for him. Shout out to Amber. Appreciate you tuning in. Tigers did good. Miss Meadows playing. I do too. It was about this time last year where, remember in San Diego, Parker Meadows had the grand slam. I'll never forget that night. It was incredible. But yeah, good name drop there, and we miss him. Coven's up next. I knew we weren't winning that game as soon as we started the game by going 6 up, 6 down. Another good way to look at it. This Tigers team certainly were shut down by Kolek at the beginning to the tune of just being a stagnant offense that had no answer, and that's absolutely a fact. So I don't disagree with that sentiment at all. And in fact, I appreciate it. Anthony Robinson is up next. Bobby Witt Jr. hurts us all of the time. He hurts a lot of teams. There's a lot of different teams that Bobby Witt Jr. It's 20th home run, but everything he does impacts the game in a positive light for his team. He's just a good, hard-nosed, old-school ball player, and that's the best way to describe Bobby Witt Jr. Noah Murray is up next. Holton's first pitch to the first batter, and we all knew it was over. I'm laughing because I kind of felt that way as well, where you're thinking, okay, it's just a matter of time. And, unfortunately, Holton, a year removed from being arguably one of the best relievers in the game, just hasn't been that. And tonight was a really good example of that. All right. Who do we have next? Coven, I agree with this one. Need a vintage Skubal start tomorrow to make up for the game today. That's a good plan. And Skubal's been really good against the Royals. And let's go take a series. And taking a series from a divisional opponent on the road is huge, especially when that divisional opponent, like the Royals, are fighting for that playoff berth. And really tonight, just about everything the Royals needed to have happened. You got the Mariners losing. I believe the Red Sox lost as well. And they're chasing the Tigers. I was talking to my brother about this. It's certainly a healthy lead, and there's not a lot of baseball to be played. But look what we saw happen last year with the Tigers. Crazy things down the stretch. in this crazy game of baseball can happen. Noah Murr is up next. I get Finnegan probably wasn't pitching after 2 innings pitched yesterday, but give me Melton over either Canley or Holton. Putting both in for a tie game feels like expecting a loss. That's an interesting proposition because I have had that complaint, that grievance with AJ Hinch a couple of times where it feels like he almost will pick and choose when he's making the decisions that are most likely to yield a win. And he'll punt on some games from time to time. So I totally get that. I didn't really necessarily feel like that tonight, but the overall sentiment, I felt that way. And I don't know why I always go back to this Minnesota game that Sunday when they won the first 3 games of the series and then just mailed it in on that Sunday. Last 20 batters retired. Paddock got shelled. And it was just like, why did we even play this game? The Tigers had no interest in winning this game. And I know, again, that's just one-off that for whatever reason sticks in my mind. Gray Matter says Tigers made Kolek look like the ace that he very clearly is not. That's a good way to put it. Wow, we got a lot more comments to get to. I'm sorry I haven't gotten to all of them. We got to keep the lights on. And then coming up, we'll have our turning point and our player of the game. That's next on Live Locked On Tigers Postcast. This episode of the Locked On Tigers Postcast is brought to you by Upside. Hey, Locked On Tigers fans, are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up free using the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code SEASON and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You could make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas you already need. At first, I thought this might be too good to be true, but it's totally legit. Real people are getting real money and they're getting paid to make their daily commute, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app using my limited promo code SEASON for a limited 25 cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code SEASON. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. Today's episode is also brought to you by our good friends at Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's a 401k, maybe some properties, or even some investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you, and you can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet, which is good because I can't even spell Excel. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us on a Saturday night. Make sure you like today's video. It means a lot to us and does a great deal for the old YouTube algorithm, which we love. Tigers lose to the Royals, the Bobby Witt Jr., the blow in the 8th inning to make it 3-1. And that is how this game ends. Let's get into our turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Listen, I don't want to make this episode just to pick on Wenzel Perez night. It was a base running mistake. He knows it. The whole team knows it. Can't have it. And leave it at that. I wouldn't say the real, that's not fair, but the turning point as I'm watching this game and the pinch hitter that is put into this game in the form of Tyler Tolbert, who again is just a speed demon, pinch running machine. Very rarely does he even have a bat in his hand. He's played more games than at bats. And I mean, think about that. When you're an everyday starter, you've got 4 to 5 at bats a game, but he's played more games than at bats. And him drawing a walk was the beginning of the end for Tyler Holton and the Tigers in that 8th innings that allowed Bobby Witt Jr. to bat with a man on. And obviously the approach becomes so much different with a man on, and Tolbert Tolbert drawing that walk is really what allowed for the Royals to go ahead. And you got to give credit to Bobby Witt Jr. Of course, that's mixed into this whole turning point thing as well. But the Royals making the little plays matter the most in that 8th inning en route to the win. How about our player of the game?
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
It's Bobby Witt Jr. Give him credit. 2-run homer. Like I said, he does so many things to impact the game. 2 more hits tonight. And then, of course, the 2 runs batted in. Got to give a lot of credit to the starting pitcher for the Royals and Stephen Kolek as well. He goes 6 strong, just the 1 earned. So that's what it boils down to. Rubber match tomorrow with Tarik Skubal on the mound. And it would be nice to see him back in Tarik Skubal form. We saw shades of it. What was that, Monday night? The first night of the series against the Athletics, which I think was Monday night. Yes, Monday night. But it didn't end well. So I want to see one end well. And for the Royals, it's Michael Wacha. So that's a really good pitching matchup. Skubal 2.28 ERA, Wacha 3.39. He hasn't had a ton of run support this year, but it's a Sunday showdown for a series win. Good comment here. I should have said this earlier. Dylan Dingler has been excellent this year. He was 3 for 4 tonight. Canely looked really good, which is a pleasant surprise. That's from our Detroit Lions guy as well. And I would completely agree with that. I mean, for Dingler did a lot of things well. If the Tigers win that game, he's probably your player of the game. No other way to put it. But if ifs were fifths, we'd all be drunk, as they say, which is just a funny way of saying it didn't happen. Tigers didn't win that game. So Royals get the win to even the series. 3-1 the final in this one. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Locked On Tigers postcast. If you're interested, if you're a Michigan Wolverines football fan, we're going to do a Locked On Wolverines post-game show, POSTCAST, over on Locked On Wolverines. So check that out. It'll be coming up here at the conclusion of the Michigan game. But anyway, you slice it. I appreciate you tuning in. Locked On Tigers, Locked On Lions Squad Show, Locked On Lions Post Game, Locked On Tigers Postcast, and of course, the Locked On Wolverines Postcast. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow when the Tigers go for a series win in the rubber match. Tarik Skubal, Michael Wacha. What a pitching matchup. Will be on Post Game. Have a great night. See you over on Locked On Wolverines.